Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Tenor. We have a lot of information to put out here. I have two trade setups, one on NVIDIA, one on Tesla. We're going to work our way around on the daily time frames on SPY, QQQ, and maybe dash a couple different places. And, you know, going into our trading plan so far is working through, and we're almost to a target. So I'll show you that target, and I'll remind all the new traders where we think this market is going. And I do have some things that the bulls are going to be looking at that I'm going to show you in how, you know, I look at it on a different, there's two different ways you can look at things on a bull bear side. So we'll go through that, and I might have to pause to set up I'm going to go long about 498. So about 499, I'm going to put on a long position on the SPY, and yeah, we'll go from there. So if you're new here, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Tenor logo, and subscribe. All right, we're starting to hit some of these targets here. So, all right, let's dive into it. We have SPY on the daily time frame. Now, for anybody that's new here, consolidations, that's how they form support and resistance. We're looking ultimately to start testing these areas. I'm not going to go in depth there. I'm going to look at more of the near term. Had our pause yesterday, a choppy day. We said wave fours are very difficult to trade, especially on the micro, minute level. We just got really chopped out, and if you didn't just hold your positions through, then you would have missed out on this trade here. And now we're getting into this smaller consolidation area, and that's where we paused at the top there. But I was looking for a target about 198, 199 in the center of that consolidation. And the reason why these consolidations are so important are because you have a lot of volume there, and that's what creates supports as well. So you see this volume node right here in that 499 that we'll call it 500 is right at the top there. That's what we're getting at. We're getting at that node right there. So I do think we are going to spike in there probably today. I think we're headed there right now, getting into that node, and we'll get a fair bounce off of there. Now, if you're looking strictly from volume, the natural place that will bounce to is this larger node back to the 411, 412 area. And you see right where that resistance would be. And that would be retesting that 50 simple moving average, which is very natural, and also the breakdown from this head and shoulder. So those are different things we can look at. You know, there's all sorts of indicators and oscillators that you can focus on. I like to use them all. So, I think that's all we got here. Let's move over to the Qs. A lot of tech today. I'm talking a lot of tech today. So, here's the Qs. Same situation. We have this consolidation down there, former high, and this all coincides with a trend line here. So, this trend line may be a good spot to get a larger bounce. We may break the trend line. We'll see what price action does. But in the near term, we're closing a gap right now, and we're right in the center of this whole consolidation area. So again, I think this is kind of that zone right here I'm looking at, and it's just a zone. So it's not 425. It looks, we may come through 425 and form a doji through that, or maybe gap up tomorrow from here. But that's, again, another volume. You can turn on the volume. There's a node right there. There's a volume node at 425. And yes, when and if we do break down 425, then you have a nice gap area where I think price action will move much quicker down to this 400 zone there. Okay, so again, we broke down from this major level, 435. And I think price really wants to retest that. And, you know, tech can get really volatile, so it can spike through these zones and go for that 50 simple moving average as well. So at this point, as we kind of scroll through in the lower time frame, the bulls, I'll show you much more in depth on the 65 minutes. So make sure you stick around. And we do these videos often, so hit that notification bell. Each video kind of plays off of itself. So the bulls are going to be looking at an A, B, C correction, and they're going to be looking for new highs. Okay, I'm going to look for a bounce and a breakdown. So we're underneath the 8 EMA. The 20 is starting to curl over. So, you know, price naturally will want to retest this and suck in some of those bulls and then drop back lower. And let's see. Let's go back to SPY, because if you're new and you want to see our pathway, our expanding ending diagonal, we think this is a major top here. ABC for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where this is a blow off top, and we're starting to hit this trend. This is not all give me a straight line, you guys. This is going to be, in my opinion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll keep in mind that this could be an ABC. But I do think we test down to these levels, whether you think we get a new high or not. I think we come down to these levels and we get a bounce and drop. And then if you're a bull, you get down to these levels and you see new highs. And I do have that mapped out. I know I'm going through these fast, but we go through these all the time. This one I want to focus on the 65 minute a little bit more, and trade setups. So there's past videos that you can look at these in much more depth where I give you the count. And again, even if you're a bull, like this scenario, this is an ending diagonal, not expanded ending diagonal. It's just a regular one. This ABC for 1, 2, 3, possibly crossover 1 as a way forward. That's very typical down here, which would be testing these fibs, 50, 60%, and the 200-day moving average, and get new highs. Okay, that's what the pathways I'm looking for. So whether you're bull or bear, I'm looking for downside. So that's a very it takes the probabilities up much more. All right, we looked at the Qs, looked at SPY, SMH. SMH, we're starting to break that 50-day moving average. We had the channel here that we broke down. That throw over was just devastating, and then broke down from that, and also from the wedge here. So triangulating, broke down from the triangle. And again, if we have this level, I'll draw it in now while I have you on here. This is a good level here of support that we're at right now. And again, it's gonna be a zone. Okay, I like the purple here. It's gonna be a zone. So we're at that zone. So it's time to take off risk. Now I'm looking for that bounce for NVIDIA, and I'll show you why. And again, I'm going to go on the 65. On the daily time frame, this looks really dangerous. And it is. It's risky. But we have a low, and we're possibly looking to make a higher low. You can, whether you're a bull or bear, but we're in this zone. I can certainly stretch this out, to the other wicks. Okay, so we're just in this zone. This is a demand zone. Okay, but I like to keep my lines clean, and we're also kind of making a flag type pattern. It's getting a little bit deep, and we're going to show you the Elliott wave too. All right, so keep that in mind. We're in the zone. We're underneath the 8 EMA, but really everything's going sideways, and you get everything coming together for a big move. So in my opinion, I think we get a nice retest because everybody's in love with NVIDIA, and then lower, and that would be going directly with what the market is doing. Now Tesla, insane setup here. Tesla, I have quite a few contracts. We have this massive move to the downside, and it looks like we're trying to make a higher low here. We have this downtrend line that each and every time you get to that zone, you have these beautiful moves, nice big moves here. And we did it again recently, and we're right back at that dashed line there the downtrend. Okay, and we're what appears to be making, and you see this low here, we're right at that low inside this gap. So it appears we're making a tweezer bottom, and I do suspect we'll get a run up into earnings. It's coming up on 4/23. That's next week, I believe. So we're really getting tight now. With the traditional technical analysis, we're looking at this wedge forming. It's a nice big wedge, right? In particular, you can draw the wedge from the entire move, but really just from here. So I can draw it down there. Price can come down lower. That's true. We have this wedge really taking the dominant precedence of of this past dash line. That's going to be more of a zone. Price could become lower, but we're at support horizontally. We're at this confluence. I even have somewhat of a bull flag kind of in the blue. And we're at all those supports. So this is an excellent risk reward in my opinion. And so we're in Tesla already. And let's go down to the 65. Well, let's check out VIX really, really quick, just so you can see what I think that the VIX, we had this channel here that we're kind of breaking above. We held on to it, and we have this major, very large wedge that when we break above this wedge, there's going to be a whole lot different scenario playing out. So it's around this 19, call it the 1920 zone. And the VIX may even come up just a little bit more, but really it's just playing around with the zone. And I do think we retreat for just a little bit. We're having these sharp moves here with options expiration, so you got to be really careful at what you're doing. But I do think the VIX is going to retreat off these levels just for a little bit to pull back, possibly. I don't know how far, but maybe just consolidate. Make another flag, a larger daily type flag, and then head above. Once we get above this zone, this 1920 zone, that's really, really going to key us into the bearish scenario. So let's go down to Tesla. We'll do Tesla in the 65. We'll work our way backwards. Now going onto the 65-minute board, you can see this wedge. This is a large wedge. We're really getting into some divergence, some positive divergences. We have a low here at 153.75 and a low here of 153.78. So didn't make a new low here, trying to make a higher low. But if we pull out the indicators, we're getting divergence over divergence once again, and we have it here. If we get a little bit lower, then we're just going to form more divergences. So keep that in mind. Support with these divergences. You can even draw it kind of back here a little bit more. Oops. Grab onto there. And you can kind of stretch it out just like that. So each time you make a low, you're making these divergences. And I think we're going to get a good pop off it. We don't have the confirmation on the MACD quite yet, but we'll be looking into that. We have the Bollinger Bands. We have all sorts of things that are giving these indicators. Not going to go through all of them. And we have NVIDIA next. Again, when the market sort of gets a little bit of strength, a little bit of rhythm, and these lows that we're talking about, then I think these setups are going to start to play out. And they're very limited, in my opinion. I think Tesla's has the most substance behind it, and I think it'll work its way up over time, but it's not as much of a factor as like NVIDIA. The market's following NVIDIA. So you see NVIDIA is forming this on the daily time frame. We had this drop here. I still remain that this is a 1-2 setup, but I think this too is going to play out as a zigzag. We have a I'll show you on the next board. This is a kind of bullish flag starting right to the options expected move. So we're at the low of that channel right now. So it's a great position to jump into. And then if we go over to the other board with the Elliott wave, we're looking at this being a possible 1 and an ABC for 2 and then a 1. And now we're looking at this. You see this is a 5-wave move. So you're going to have the bulls saying this is a 1-2 setup and we're going to get new highs. In a bear sense where we do get a bounce, we're looking at the, let me change the color of these two different situations here. So put this one in the white. All right, so I'm going to dig in a little bit further. And on this, where this is a 1-2 setup, again, when you have the bulls and bears both agreeing on the same thing, that's a great setup. So this being a 1-2, and then we go higher, would be the bulls. And this being in a 1, and now an A, a 5-wave move up for an A, B, C, and both go down to the 786 right here. I don't know if that's perfect. I didn't set these up to the penny, so it could have already touched. But this is an A, B, C into a B, and now let me take these off so we can clear this up. This is the retracement from the top. So if this is a 1 for the bears, if this is a 1 and we're getting an ABC for a 2, then I suspect that this would end here and we go into and make a new recent high into the 62% retracement. That would be our target for this next move. If the market is going to hold up, then NVIDIA is going to lead it. And we should get a nice big candlestick probably by Friday or into early next week for this move, because it's going to be another impulse. So you have a 5, 3, 5, and that would be a zigzag. All right. And there's other ways to measure where that zigzag will end. So you can pull out, if you had this nice big move here for the A. Here's our extension. So from the bottom of our move here, A, to the top of A, if this is where B ends, this is a 3-wave move down for B, then we're looking at a possible if your symmetrical move here up to the 925 would be 100% move from A to C. All right, so that still brings us into the zone of 62%, but you know how volatile NVIDIA can get. We're at the bottom of this channel, that major channel on the daily time frame. It can come all the way back up to 786 at the 940. Whole point is that the bulls are going to be looking for a higher low, and from this, meaning a higher low from here, the bears are going to be looking for a lower high. It's going to be a new recent high, but a lower high before a much larger drop. And that would bring us to the same scenario as what I think of the market. And so I think that gives us exactly what we're looking for in the market. And now we're going to look at this 2 ways, you guys. All right. We're going to look at this 2 different ways. I'm going to give you that whole scenario again, whether you're a bull or bear and you go lower. All right. Now, going on to this is important. This is exactly what we're looking at. Okay. So you see we're getting into that target zone. We're looking for that 498.62. That is precise. I'm looking into that zone right there today, or gapping down tomorrow, whatever the case. We're looking for that to put on a long trade, just very temporary. And I already have the retracement set. So you have the 23.6, and this is from this low here. So you have the 502 to 505 zone where this wave 4 should not get higher than that point. Okay. If it does, then this count is wrong. Okay, there's different ways we can look at this. I don't want you to get caught up in this count too much. I do want you to know that price can go lower before bouncing, but this is a good spot for a low. You can count this as a let's do this. Let's do it all in turquoise here. If this is a good low for a wave 1 or a wave A, we're going to show you the different way. I know this is going to take a little time, but this is important. So the bulls can say that 1, 2, 3, 4 being a flat, a running flat, and then wave 5 stretching out right here into the target. And this, the important thing is that we see a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay, going into our target. Now the bears are simply going to say, forget about this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're going to say this move is corrective. A, B, C. That is an A right here into a B, C, into a B, and then an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a C. All right, but that, in my opinion, is not going to lead to new highs, even if you're a bull. I think that's just the first A leg. You get the same retracement that the bears are looking for. The same. That's why I'm going to go long. The same retracement as the bears. High probability that either direction, or either bull or bear, you're going the same way. And then whether you're a bull or a bear, you continue lower, okay? So whether you're a bull or bear, if you're a bull, you're going an A, a larger A, a B, and a C, and then we work our way to new highs, okay? If you're a bull, this is just a 1, 2, and then continue 3, 4, 5 if you're a bear. All right, and we're going to jump back to, just so I can show you again, bull scenarios, bull or bear. I think that you're looking for this move down here, whether bull or bear, a bounce and lower, or this is the bull case. No matter if you're a bull or bear, you're looking for down move and then a new high if you're a bull. That's what I got to show you today, you guys. Thanks for joining us here at Options Center. Have a wonderful day. We'll get this video out to you. We're reaching our target right now. Have a wonderful day.